In this video, I'm going to be showing you the steps I take in order to give my client a low taper. Be sure to stick around so that you do not miss the final results. To kick this taper off, I want to start off by going in with the lever completely closed on my Tune 45 and Barber's clippers. Again, with the lever completely closed, setting in my first guideline. Here I'm going in with the lever completely open, going up about a full inch just to give myself room in order to stretch this fade out and give it some type of gradiency. Now that it's all down to one desired length, I want to go in with the lever completely closed on my one guard, going up another full inch, giving myself another inch of space, being able to cover this whole ground and cover this whole nape area in order to blend this fade out and stretch it out as much as possible. Keeping in mind I'm essentially going from bald into an afro on top, and so I want to be able to transition in between there and make sure that this goes into the top smooth. Here I'm going in with the 1.5 guard, and that's going to be the last guard that I'm going to use at the top of this taper. And what I'm doing is going in off the heel of the blade, and I'm just shaping the actual fro from the taper into the fro, as well as finishing off the top of the taper. So I'm going from essentially bald again to the top of the taper, and now I'm working into the fro, but I'm shaping it as I'm going. And I want to maintain the darkness at the top, and so I'll leave a lot of the bulk at the top so that it creates that blended effect, and I can easily come back and smooth that out, but I don't want to take off too much of this bulk. Here I want to drop back down to my one guard with the lever halfway here, and I'm noticing a little bit of a lighter spot towards the left of the top of the taper, so I'm being cautious of that, as well as in erasing that middle line that I put in with the lever completely open, and then I went up with the lever completely closed on the one guard as well as the 1.5, and so now I'm halfway with the number one guard in between the 1.5 and the one closed. I hope that makes sense, but just to be more simple, I'm in between the 1 and the 1.5 using the lever halfway, and I'm using the heel or the corner of the blade just to detail the darker spots without having to use the whole blade and taking the fade up too high. I just want to be able to manipulate the darker spots and take those out slowly but surely, and just play my part and let the clippers do the work. Now that I feel like the one guard with the lever halfway has served its purpose, I'm moving on to the 0.5 or the half guard to clean up that very bottom line. As you can see, it's very faint, but I know it's there because I know where I left off. This is where I left off with the lever completely open with no guard on, and so I'm erasing that very bottom line with the 0.5 guard just to be able to blend that into the top where I left off with the one guard. And then as you can see, there's a very, very light line at the very bottom. That's what I'm gonna use with no guard again, and playing with the lever opening from open to close as I go down in the fade. With the lever completely open here, I'm gonna go in and detail the darker spots that I couldn't get out with the half guard, and I'm gonna use the lever completely open just to detail that very bottom line where I was working at with the half guard. In order to do so, you wanna lay the blade on the side or the corner and just use a few of the teeth, not flat, because you don't want to take off too much hair, and you want to use very light pressure. Same steps here, just keeping in mind that I have a smaller area to work with, so I'm being more careful and using more of the corner of the blade in order to do these sections or panels, if you will, as I'm going up and putting my guidelines in. One guard with the lever completely closed here, and I'm looking in the mirror as I'm doing these just so that I can make sure that anything that I don't see with my own eye, I could check in my mirror just to make sure. And so I'm not actually even gonna do all the steps on the side tapers up front because I don't feel that it needs it because of the way that it's blending as I'm going up and setting in my next guidelines. Obviously, you don't want to set in a harsh line, and so that's not what I'm doing. I'm setting my lines up to where that they don't have to really take as much work taking the lines back out, And so now, as you can see, as I'm getting to the top of the taper with the 1.5 guard, everything is seeming to already be blended out. And so I'm just gonna take a step away from it and get to the next taper in order to keep my eyes focused on keeping this gradiency without putting too much time and attention to one side. Be able to make sure that everything else comes out the way that it needs to be. And as I go back and line the hairline up, I'll see any imperfections that I can go back and detail. Same steps here. .5 guard here. Again, this is the biggest guard that I'm going to use on the tapers, and now I'm transitioning from the skin into the actual style on top, and so I want to be able to create gradiency and connect the top and the bottom. Here I'm dropping back down to the 0.5 or the 0.5 guard here in order to blend out the very bottom line and make sure that everything is blended from top to bottom, and then I'll come back and work with the bulk. No guard here, starting halfway, and I'm just dropping lower and closing up the lever as I go lower in this taper. This you don't have to do, it's optional totally, but I do it because it helps me find the line as well as create a crispy line. So if you push this line back, you can tell where the hair actually starts to grow and what's actually just overhang. So a lot of this is just overhanging hair that hangs over the actual line, in which case I'm not pushing it back at all. I'm just cleaning up extra hair that does not even stick to his head. So all of this right here that's falling off is basically hair that needs to come off, because if I don't cut this off and I just try to line it up as low as possible without creating a sharp natural line, the slightest adjustment with air, wind, or water whenever he wash or blow dry, whatever, or anything, if you don't get it crispy to the natural line, you won't be able to have that solid line after he washes his hair. It wouldn't even look sharp. Here, if you notice, as I lined up the neckline, I seen an imperfection in the tapering, so now I'm going back in with the 0.5 guard with the lever open, just detailing that. If you're new to the channel and you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on your post notification bell so that you do not miss when I upload another video. Also, it allows me to be able to get these videos out to you guys as well as give it to somebody else who may need it. So if you can share this video with someone who you feel may need help or struggling with something, in order to just continue to grow this channel and help as many people as possible, it would be much appreciated. As I mentioned before, I'm going back in with the 0.5 guard here, just detailing. Also keep in mind the hair growth pattern, because what may look like a dark spot could possibly be hair out of place or combed the wrong direction. So just be sure to comb the hair back down to its natural position in order to completely get the full effect of the taper. On the front hairline, I start by establishing my vertical bars, and then I start in the middle, and then I work my way out from side to side in order to connect to the top of the vertical bars. But as you can see, I already set in the C-cups to set the symmetry so that everything else up top is already symmetric and makes more sense in order to connect everything together. Now I just need to be able to put the front line in as straight as possible. This is the final cut, and if you like this video, be sure to like this video. Let me know what you like or don't like about this video in the comment section below. Hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell. My name is Kel, and I'll catch you in the next one.